My name is David McCullers, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to perform CPR and the Heimlich maneuver on an adult, a child, and an infant. So first, I'll start with the CPR. For an adult and a child, it's very similar. The only difference is in when you call 911 and how you do chest compressions. So first of all, before even starting, you want to check the scene and make sure that it's safe for you to approach. So you make sure there's no dangers because you don't want another victim on the scene. So once you check and see it's safe, then you then approach the victim. First I will demonstrate for an adult. You ask them, are you okay? Can you hear me? Do you need help? If they're unresponsive, then you will then call 911. If you're by yourself, then you'll call 911, then start chest compressions. If you have someone with you, then you'll ask them to call 911, and then while you start chest compressions. So the next thing is you want to check for their breathing. So to do that, you will place your ear above their mouth and look down towards their chest. So what you're looking for is if their chest is moving up and down, or if you can feel any hot breath, or just hear breath sounds. So if you can't see or hear any of those, then you will begin your chest compressions. To do the chest compressions, you'll place your hand on the nipple line, then place your other hand on top, and then you're going to want to do 30 chest compressions in about 18 seconds. So to do that, you'll just you can hum "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees to yourself to keep count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then once you do your chest compressions, you will then do your rescue breaths by tilting their chin up and then doing 2 breaths. And once you do that, you will then continue with chest compressions. And then do 2 more rescue breaths. And then you will just continue this until help arrives, until the EMS arrives. And then for a child, it's essentially the same way. You ask them if they're okay, you check for breathing the exact same way. The only difference is the way you do chest compressions is you just use one arm to do that, and then you just still do 30 chest compressions. And you do the same rescue breaths. So next I will demonstrate on an infant. Also with a child, you don't call 911 until after you do chest compressions because they're not going to have a heart attack and they're most likely just choking on something or they have something lodged in their throat. So next with an infant, you do things the same way, you approach the same way. You ask them if they're okay. Hey, are you okay? Can you hear me? If they're unresponsive, you check for breathing the exact same way. Checking for their chest to be moving up and down, if you can hear breaths or feel any breaths. If you can't feel or hear anything or see anything, then you will do the chest compressions by placing 3 fingers on their chest at the nipple line, and then removing one of those fingers, and then doing your 30 chest compressions. So. And then for their breath, the rescue breaths, you will place your mouth over their mouth and their nose because of the size of the child. And then you'll just continue that until EMS arrives. For calling 911, you'll do the chest compressions and CPR before calling 911 because they're also not going to have a heart attack. They're just probably choking on something. So the importance of knowing CPR is that if you don't do it correctly, you could seriously injure someone while trying to help them. So next I'm going to demonstrate how to do the Heimlich maneuver on an adult, a child, and an infant. So an adult and a child are very similar. What you'll do is when you see someone choking, they're usually doing the universal sign of choking. So you ask them, are you choking and can I help you? If they say, or if they nod yes, then you'll then approach them. For an adult, you will take the proper stance, which is a staggered stance, so that they'll be able to rest upon your leg. To do the Heimlich maneuver, you'll take one hand in kind of an L shape and put it above the navel and then form a fist, placing the other hand on top of it, and then you'll go in a kind of a J motion, up and in, up and in, up and in. You continue this until either the object is dislodged or they become unconscious, and once they become unconscious, you will then do CPR, just as as I've shown before, calling 911 before starting chest compressions. For a child, it's very similar. However, if the child is with their parent, you'll ask the parent if you can help them, not necessarily the child themselves. If the child's by themselves, then you can ask the child. So depending on how big the child is, you might have to kneel on the ground. So if you're kneeling on the ground, you'll still take the child in front of you, place your hand above their navel in a fist, other hand on top, and same in and up motion. We will continue this until the object is either dislodged or they become unconscious and unresponsive, in which case you'll lie them down and start CPR, calling 911 after you do the CPR. For an infant, it's a little different. You'll do the same thing with the child, ask the parent if you can help them. If you are able to help them, you will place them on their chest in your hand, resting them on your leg with the body facing, or the baby facing down, because you want gravity to help you. So you'll then do 5 blows to their back, and then you'll flip them over after doing that, and then do 5 chest compressions while also looking to see if the object is being dislodged and maybe you can grab it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you might have to do it again, so you'll flip them back over, then flip them back, do their chest compressions, checking to see if you can see the object. You will then continue this until the object is either dislodged or the baby is unresponsive and unconscious, in which case you'll lie them down and begin CPR, calling 911 after you have done CPR. So the importance of knowing the Heimlich maneuver is that if you're alone with someone, it would be very important for you to know it so that you can help them. If not, then you'll not be able to help them. So that is CPR and the Heimlich maneuver for an adult, a child, and an infant. Thank you.